PDF could be rich, how it could be used, how responsive it could be, and how the content in PDF could be reused. And this document is some sort of a guideline for creating these type of documents, helping developers understand and users as well understand all the capabilities of PDF. So I'm a software developer, and I'm working with PDF implementations, application, and libraries for 20 years now, and it's long enough to actually witness all the evolution of PDF over the years. And let me explain how we get where we are at the moment. So we started back in '93 with electronic representation of a paper. So the basic PDF model, the original one, was based on a graphical model. We wanted to accurately represent the content on a paper, either on a screen or on a printout. So we adopted a word rendering. We wanted to precisely render the content that's been in a PDF file. After then, we started to realize that it's not enough. We need more richness in PDF, and we introduced mark content. So a logical structure. We started to mark content, and we also realized that it is not enough. We needed to start properly tag files. And when tagged PDF was born, it was actually for the very first time when we started to consume the PDF a little differently. Right now, assistive technology, screen readers, and these type of tools are not consuming the PDF or the document as it is, as we ordinary people on a paper. They simply read the content based on the structure that is written in a PDF file. We have with PDF some problems now, and PDF is essential part of the web, right? So it's the most common file format you can find on the web, except of HTML. And so everywhere you go, you meet PDFs. But how good is the end user experience with PDF? HTML users hate PDF, right? They don't know how to use PDF on a mobile. You have to pinch and zoom. If you are on a browser, you usually experience a PDF in the form of a link, so it's not an essential part of the experience on a website. You have to go somewhere else, into a different viewer, into a different user experience generally. HTML developers hate PDF as well. They don't know how to access data in PDF. They can't control the user experience at all. You just have to go away from the portion of the website. You have to go into a different application usually, and they can't navigate into a PDF, out of the PDF into HTML site, and so on. So it's basically something different. It's not there. And the question is it possible to somehow interpret PDF a little differently, so we would give HTML users and HTML developers a better experience with PDF? And we believe, yes, we do. We can do a lot better. And the document I was mentioning at the beginning is something what I was working on with a bunch of great people in Next Generation Technical Working Group under PDF Association. And we simply believe that there is a way out of this with current language we know in PDF. And we believe that the tagging is the way to is the best way for capturing author's intent. So author would decide how the content would be consumed, and also would give enough freedom for developers and implementers to actually adjust these experiences as well. We believe that provisions in ISO 32000-2, which is acronym for PDF 2.0, are rich enough to be interpreted properly as HTML. We call it derived. And we also believe that derivation might be the new word for rendering. And by giving away this document, we wanted to encourage all the developers, all the implementers and authors to think about the proper way of doing this. Because we don't have to do anything. People will simply start doing it. And if we provide the guidance, we believe that people would adopt it. And of course, I want PDF is and has always been an open format. It's very important that is community driven. So I'd like to invite you to join. First of all, you can go to PDF Association website, download the publication, download the document, read it. If you are not part of the PDF Association, join us. If you are part of the PDF Association already, join us in the working group. We also have our testing product, so to speak, where we test this idea, and I'll show you a little later how does that work in a real life. Share your files so we can adapt and come up with improvements to this document. We can discuss techniques, and I'd love to hear your feedback. So now, I warn you, this is starting to be a little more technical from now, but stay here please, don't leave. Whoever needs to take a nap, now is a good time. What actually is a tagged PDF? So we have this structure tree, we have marked content, we have form fields, links, everything is connected into structure tree, and all the elements are accessible via in Adobe Acrobat via panel on the left, right? And you have a lot more language in PDF you can use to express the quality of the content and the semantic, and you have a lot of things how you can actually make the PDF richer. There are attributes you can assign to any specific structure element. You have a classes. Classes, there's a set of attributes, something what you might know from CSS world, for example. Very similar language we do have in PDF. You have associated file. You might heard of associated file in a couple of occasions during the presentations here. And you have actions in PDF that are also taken into an account. So this is a screenshot for those of you who don't know what tagging is. So it's captured on the left, you have the panel, how you describe what actually means what's the semantic meaning of the content you see on the left. So if you are on a TR, which is the table row, it's highlighted in the content. This is how the tag element look like in a PDF way. So you have A, which is the dictionary of attributes. The full richness you might have there. AF, associated files, attached with the table row, for example, or a table. And then you have something what points to the content in a PDF. So you're not losing anything with tagging the file. You still don't have to use them. PDF is still able to be printed, read. You can do whatever you want as you used to, but much more. PDF describes a lot of standard structure element types. So that's the language we use in PDF to describe the semantic. And ISO 30002, so PDF 2.0, knows these specific structure element types. They might look familiar from PDF world, from HTML world, like div, span, p, paragraph, h1, list, item, and so on. Some are harder to imagine. In PDF, we might have form fields, we might have annotations, and so on. And of course, you may also come up with your own language set, your own set of tags, so to speak, but they have to be used properly. How the derivation then works? I said we wanna actually use tagging as a standard point, as a point of contact with the PDF file. So we have a PDF file, we have this simple H1 structure element, it points to into a content, and you may derive it into HTML, and that would look something like this at the end. Okay? More complex structure like a table. Table does have table rows, table row does have THs or TDs, so you have to fully describe the table properly, and quite a straightforward derivation would look something like this. Okay, so you have a standard HTML, and that would look like something like this. You see, it doesn't look nice. We didn't apply styling so far. The styling might come from PDF. However, this is not the way we wanted to actually do it, because in a PDF, when you drive some path and curves, they are meant to be for the representation on a paper. If you, or author, wanted to represent the table differently in an HTML world, I would suggest to use attributes. And general concept of attributes actually is something what you attach to any structure element. And again, PDF specification knows bunch of different types of attributes. And you may also assign to a structure element a class. So you see structure element properties in the middle, and then you have associated class with a C. On the left, you see on the right, you see something like a proper class. On the left, you see role mapping. So your own language for expressing text. You might use heading 2 or something which is more close to your workflows and your systems. You may use your own language. Okay. In PDF world, this is actually a screenshot from specification. This is all the attributes we may use and apply to a specific structure element, a specific tag. There are a bunch of we call it owners, and each owner, it's a set of specific attributes. So we have a layout attributes, we have attributes specific for list, like continuous list and things like that, like list numbering and so on. And if you look closer, we may introduce in PDF also attributes from a different world. So you may carry information from HTML world, and you may put it into PDF quite properly. These information are there, are essential part of the PDF, and could be reused afterwards, which is very cool, and people don't know this and are not using it. So if your authoring application, let's say Word or whatever is your choice of authoring application, you do have this type of information, you have a way how to put it into PDF and not lose it. Associated file might have information that is relevant for processing to HTML, might be supplement, might be something what you need to actually look at, like an additional information, for example. If we have a table, it might be a chart of the table, it might be, if we have an image, it might be SVG representation of the image. If we have a math formula in form of image on a paper, it might be MathML for further processing. And we, in our derivation, are taking this into account and are looking at this as a interesting and important way of conveying information. In this particular case, we do have this PDF, which is tagged, and we have associated files, and you may see that there is a JavaScript associated, as well as styling associated with the header. And after the derivation, and you might guess, based on the name of the JavaScript, how would the result HTML look like? So after the derivation, we receive HTML, which looks identically as a PDF. That's how we styled it. We decided we want the same experience from result HTML. However, we decided that we want this table to be sortable. So that's done. And that's all carried in a PDF file. Nothing is added after derivation. We didn't apply anything special on the result file. It's all contained in a PDF file. And end user decided, author decided he wants this experience after the derivation. Another cool feature of PDF 2.0 is namespaces. Matthew mentioned this. So we are not playing only in our sandbox, talking that the PDF text set is the only way to express information in PDF. We are allowing other text other namespaces to join the party. Right? So in this case, we have a made-up PDF file. It's regular PDF file. You may print it, you may search it. It's fine. You wouldn't notice any difference. And for tagging, we used HTML namespace. So we literally using HTML tags to describe the semantic of the PDF file. Technically, that would look that would look something like this. So this is our structure element dictionary, so to speak, and the structure name is div, and we are saying which namespace we are using through the NS dictionary there. Okay, and we can still apply attributes, even PDF attributes. We can combine this information together, so we can roll map these HTML tags into a PDF tags, so the file is properly accessible for ATs, for screen readers, everything. So we're not losing anything. We are enriching PDF with these new cool features. And we are using these features during the derivation. Yeah. So as we derive as we derive HTML from this PDF, we would generate HTML with all these informations that are hidden here. And the result might look a lot richer. The user experience is a lot better. You have the HTML developer does have a choice what to do with this produced HTML. You may put it into separate div, for example, as a part of natural flow of the page, of the web page. And it's coming from PDF on fly. You don't have to do anything special there. We do have another sample which also shows the richness of the derivation itself, richness of the language we have. PDFs can contain formula data. All the formula data are powered by JavaScript inside of PDF. So you have calculations, you have formatting, everything. Derivation algorithm, as described, is taking this into an account. We know already how to properly tag forms, like this. So the tagging used for accessibility is very good also in this use case. So you tag this properly. You, of course, have to think about deriving the JavaScript. That's not as easy as it might look. JavaScript in PDF is very different to JavaScript in HTML. Well, language is the same, of course, but in PDF, JavaScript knows a lot about insides of the file. Like you can access form field, you can access annotation, you can access things inside of the PDF, and based on that you may change values of a specific form field. You may also react on a button. Button was clicked, button was you entered the button, and so on and so on. Our implementation at the moment takes all the JavaScript and flushes into the result HTML. Of course, the HTML has to be powered with some specific JavaScript library that interprets these PDF specifics. We do have that library included, and at the end of the day, user does have the same experience with filling up forms inside of PDF as well as inside of HTML. Okay, so you may decide whether or how you want to consume this content. I'm not talking about how you want to consume PDF, because the PDF is just a container for your content, for whatever you want to present to the users. If that's something you want that to be presented as an HTML, you have a choice at the moment. Task was not easy to write the derivation algorithm. We are still part of ISO processes and committees and everything, so we always have to make sure that we're doing the right thing. Even though HTML these days, HTML browsers these days consume almost any HTML file, we wanted to make sure we are doing the right thing, and we needed to actually be sure that the HTML that we produce during the derivation is valid according to high standards. And that was not easy, because the PDF language is different to HTML, and we see some specifics that doesn't bother us in PDF world. Like, for example, we may have some structures that HTML doesn't allow. And what I'm looking at is actually a mega table from PDF 32000-2, PDF 2.0, and it says how the nesting of tags or what is valid in PDF. This is normative language, so we in PDF, and I merged this with our work on derivation, and I looked at ways how the result would look like. So the green spots are what is allowed in PDF and what would be okay after the derivation into HTML. However, the red spots, there is the problem. Like, for example, if we look at, somewhere here, TH, which is table heading, in PDF may contain, what was it, paragraph? No, H1 heading. In PDF, we don't mind that table header would contain H1. Yeah, how strange does that sound? We are allowing this. HTML world doesn't. You can't really use heading inside of table header. So we had to find a way how to solve these problems, and there are a couple of those. And to be honest, sometimes we had to actually take a step back and look if we are not doing something wrong in PDF itself. Maybe we just missed something, and work that we were doing on this derivation is actually a good input for work on PDF standards as well. We are validating that the PDF is ready for the years to come, and HTML and PDF have to place nicely at some point if we want it to be successful in this world. So when we were writing this document, we simply had to resolve these issues by providing some special treatment in these particular cases, and we kind of described how would that work in if you actually face this real world example. Of course, we are still thinking and believing that we would be consuming well-tagged PDF file. So it is quite a mandatory to use well-tagged PDF file. In a nutshell, now it's time to wake up, because this is important. We believe that the world of single representation of PDF is kind of over. And let's be honest, it is happening everywhere. people are consuming PDF in a different ways. They don't want to rely on the single page representation. They simply don't. And if we look even closer, assistive technologies right now, and for many years, are already consuming the content differently than what we're doing, right? So relying on single and only representation might be just a blocker for years to come. Of course, whatever I described doesn't change the core value proposition of PDF. If you want it to, you have the output in a form of PDF, in a form of paper, so to speak. And not just if you want it to, it's actually mandatory. You have to have that there, right? And I think that the strong message is also, and I've heard this over and over, it's time to stop producing bad PDFs. Of course, I'd love to say that the good PDF is tagged PDF, but I'd be happy to see PDF that contains fonts, that contains Unicode representation of the text. Of course, structure, if that's possible. I believe we would need to move away from old, bad softwares, tools, and implementations that don't actually use proper language and they are not reusable. Another thing, we have a choice. Author may decide how your PDF is going to be consumed. They may tell inside of the file, I want this to be properly consumed as HTML file. There's nothing bad about this. Author may decide, can actually give you a choice. They would still need to provide the standard page description, of course. They would need the PDF would still needs to be rendered properly, as we know. So we're not changing this way. And instead of saying that there is only one way to interpret the PDF, we will be saying that there is always a deterministic way of interpreting PDF. Because I'm a developer, we tend to use shortcuts. And if there is no guidance, then we would try something special, some magic that would happen. And I do think that this is also a bad practice, and we simply have to stop producing bad files, producing bad experiences, and we need to follow standards. And again, there are this link. Of course, I mentioned the document you may grab on PDF Association website. You may read it. You may get in touch with us even through the technical working group or through the GitHub repository we have there. We shared a couple of samples there. You can download it, you can look at them, you can see how they are derived. We have implementation as well. The implementation is in a form of a command line. It's in a form of also the application itself. There's a screenshot of the application. So you may open a PDF file. On the left, there are two panels. On the left, you see the original PDF rendered with some kind of renderer. On the right, you have the HTML representation of it. In this case, it looks almost identically because author wanted that to be like that. And I guess I ran out of the time. So if you have any questions. Okay.
I'm just trying to understand how tagged PDFs work in that. So the PDF has the X objects describing the content on the page, as that's how PDFs work. When you tag it, are you duplicating all that text?
Not at all. No.
Just applying text to the X object.
Exactly. If you look at this, let me show you. So we're talking about PDF language here. So okay, this one is good. So this is a structure element. Hold on. This is a tag. And you have an information about the page, where the content on the page is, and there's a K, which is a pointer to the content. And the content is marked and contains an information that one, I'm the one. It's a number, basically. So it points into the content. Whatever you change in the content is actually applicable. So you're not duplicating things. Of course, you may apply additional information to this. Like, for example, you're pointing to an image, but you wanted to add an alternate text. So you have to put it in here. So you're not putting that into a content, of course. But if you have an image, and under the image there is a title or caption, you associated both of them in structure tree. So the semantic, the richness is expressed in the structure tree with the pointers to the PDF content.
So do many PDF producers have the ability to add tags while creating the PDF, or?
Well, yes and no. Most of the applications now are able to produce tagged PDF, most of the important ones, of course. Like, for example, Microsoft Word or Excel. They can do that. And we also included on the GitHub an example. How would a standard Word document would look after the conversion, the derivation. And one thing is, they do, however, how good they do. So far, yeah. And I don't want to blame anyone, it's just the reality where we are now. Okay? People are producing, or we're using so far tags for accessibility purpose. But this is something what we believe is going to change. People need to access the data, and this is the way. Yeah.
I can see how it made my job easier.
Yes, please.
I'm curious as to how it's changed from PDF 1.7 to 2.0.
Mhm.
That might be too big a topic for a question, but how does it simplify
Yeah.
the process?
So 1.7, I mentioned a couple of new languages we do have in 2.0, like associated files. In 1.7, there were only a little bit of them. Right now, you may attach associated file to almost anywhere. Specifically, that is important, you may attach associated file to a structure element. So it's a new language. When it comes to tag set, they are a little better in 2.0, I would say. So we deprecated a couple of tags or structure elements. We introduced a couple of new. We also changed a little the language a little bit. The nesting table I showed, that is something what wasn't there in 1.7. So we are more precise in 2.0. There are, of course, other things like namespaces. That's a new in 2.0. Some attributes are new in 2.0, but it's not that dramatic. Structure destination, that's one type of action you may use in 2.0. It was not in 1.7, so action that takes you from one structure element into another. Obviously, if you click on that link, it would take you into a content that is associated with the structure. So from top of my head, I guess that's pretty much all.
Thank you.
Namespaces.
Namespaces, yes, of course, namespaces. We are bringing the language from out of the world, like MathML. It's natively you may use MathML inside of a structure tree. We are trying to make friends, HTML, for example, right? So, stuff like that. Yeah, no further questions. Thank you very much.